Hello, and welcome back to the Manifest Magic podcast. All right, so we took a little bit of a break from the podcast, which I think was just needed. I think
Yeah.
well, you were doing a lot of things with
Yeah.
school and with clubs, and just life gets busy. So, we took a little bit of a break, but we decided to sit down and record this episode because this is something that we're doing like in our life for Alexis. And so I was like, well, we should record this because
Yeah.
any parent or any kid that's listening really should hear this because it affects everybody. So we're going to talk about picking like what you want to do when you grow up,
Yeah.
basically. And not picking because it's not like you pick this at age 15 and it's set
Yeah.
in stone, but at least giving some like guidance that you
Yeah.
don't get anywhere else.
Inspiration.
Yeah. Because what did they give you at school for this?
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're at a school,
At school, it's like you could go to college for whatever you want, or you could do trade school. Those are your options. Like, they don't really explain any of that or like what your options are really.
yeah, I was listening to this woman and she was saying how if you ask any teenager what jobs they even know about, it's like 20, 30 max, because it's really only things you've been exposed to through your parents or your friends' parents or
Yeah.
just common things. And there's so many different opportunities. I think if your child is, well, whether they're in a public school or not, I think parents should be having this conversation or kids. Like you can figure this out with what we're going to do today. And I think this came up too because every time we go to dinner, your grandpa or your great grandma, pretty much any adult will
They're like,
ask.
what do you want to be? What do you
Yeah.
want to do when you grow up? And I'm like, you ask me this question every time I see you, and every time I give you the same answer. I don't know yet.
Which I think is so crazy because most adults don't even know what they want to
Same with
do.
like at school, like every couple months, the counselor will come into our class and like she'll ask, because we have like a career guidance counselor, and she'll ask like what we're interested in doing, like college, trade school, this or that. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to college because my parents went to college. It's like,
Mhm.
but do you actually know what you do at college? Was like the question she asked last time, and like no one knew like what college even like is. So she had to explain it to all of us.
Well, and that's the thing because I think what they do now is what they started doing when I was a kid, which was everyone should go to college. That was
Yeah.
literally no one even talked to us about trades. It was like everyone goes to college. And the promise was if you go to college and you get a 4-year degree, then you're going to be successful and you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to be living happily ever after.
Yeah, I just thought of a fun podcast episode idea. We could talk about all the different things that like I've wanted to do when I grew up, like throughout the years, and then we could always compare it to when I actually get a job. You
Yeah.
could talk about all the different jobs you had before becoming a podcaster.
Yeah. And, I think the other thing is like, you've tested out a lot of those ideas.
Yeah,
How many times does a kid say they want to do something and it's like, oh, that's cute. But like if
yeah,
you actually put yourself into it, like with the podcast, and
yeah,
then you're like, well, I don't know if I want to do this full time, or like when you were doing the baking or whatever and you thought you wanted to open a bakery, it actually helps you realize, is this something
yeah.
I want to do every day?
And even though, like, even if you're like, I'm probably gonna change my mind about not doing that, like, you might as well try it because it's a good skill to have, like, baking, or like, I wanted to have like a jewelry business, and like, those things didn't work out for specific, like, different reasons, but those are still skills that I have now that I learned from wanting to do that.
Yeah. And so with my generation, it was like everybody went to college, regardless if you liked school, if you were good at school. That was just, you go to college and you'll figure it out. Like you'll figure out what you want to do eventually. And like there was no guidance really given. And then what happened was I graduated and the market crashed. And I was very fortunate because of my mindset, I think, to have a job. But so many people I knew didn't have a job. And,
Yeah.
they had this 4-year degree, they were in all this student debt and couldn't find a job. And then when they could find a job, they weren't making good money. Meanwhile, the guy that like was a mechanic and opened up his own shop was making like 6 figures a year. So I think it's just important to talk about it and not just assume kids are just going to figure it out. Like, I think that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So I figured, why not ask ChatGPT what are some good questions to ask? Because at school, did they give you like the personality assessment or whatever that's supposed to tell you like what jobs you're supposed to be good at?
Yeah, I think I did that, like, on my own time, but yeah, they had, like, an option for you to do that.
So that was the same thing they had back when I was your age. And what's funny is like all the girls fall into like one bucket of like, you're really compassionate. You should be a psychologist, or you should be a teacher, or you should be a social worker. And it's like the same like few jobs, and really doesn't give you like any practical advice of like how to make a living wage that's going to
Yeah.
pay for that schooling. So anyhow, I thought like let's come up with some real questions that could be helpful. So I had ChatGPT help me out, and it sectioned it into different sections. So there's like self-discovery and interests, strengths and talents, future vision and lifestyle, which that's a big one that no one ever asks. Like, what kind of a lifestyle do you want to live?
Yeah.
Where do you want to live?
I feel like that's a thing you should be thinking about, you're just not asked.
Well, yeah, and like think about it from a manifestation standpoint. You should be envisioning the life that you want to live. Like, what do
Yeah.
you want your day to look like when you wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
No kids are thinking about that, but they should, because that's
I'm probably the only kid that thinks about that.
exploring career and business paths, taking action and gaining experience. And then it has tips for like how parents can provide guidance, because let me tell you something, the schools are not doing it. When a school has 1,000+ students, they are not giving your kid the individualized guidance that they need. You meet
Yeah.
with your school counselor maybe once a year, sometimes once every 4 years, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to dive into the questions?
Sure.
She hasn't seen these questions yet, so this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot here. Okay, number one, what are 3 things you could spend hours doing without getting bored?
Well, that's kinda hard.
Mm,
Okay, 3 things doing without getting bored. Could that count as, like, going somewhere?
yeah,
I guess, like, traveling or, like, going
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, don't try to limit it to like, how could this be a job? Like, just purely like, what do you enjoy doing where you just don't get bored doing it?
Yeah, I feel like the main things like, I'm just trying to think of, like, what I do probably, like, weekly that I get, like, entertained with. I guess, like, when I'm going somewhere and, like, I have something to do or, like, honestly, scrolling on my phone is something that takes up a lot of time, which I
So,
mean
okay, when you're scrolling social media,
yeah, social
okay, so
media.
social media, going like what, shopping, traveling?
Yeah, any of the above.
Oh,
I don't know, I feel like it's hard. I'm trying to think of a 3rd one.
I feel like from my perspective, anytime you're doing something creative, you get like
Yeah,
immersed
that's
into it.
true.
Organizing. Oh my
Yeah,
God. You
organizing.
spend hours organizing,
Yeah.
and then you like ask me for more things to organize. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's something that'll keep me
there's nothing
entertained.
left. There you go. Like, just be a professional organizer. Case closed. Okay, what types of activities make you feel excited, energized, or in a flow state?
These are
It's kind of
hard.
like the same question in a way.
Yeah, like ones that wait, hold on, can you repeat the question?
What types of activities make you feel excited, energized, or in a flow state?
When I have something to look forward to, like, towards the end, like,
Okay.
if I'm getting, like, rewarded or if it's like, for example, like, I'm learning how to drive right now, so, like, if I go drive and get over my fear of driving, I can drive to Target and
Mm-hmm.
get myself something.
Yeah.
Like, when I have something to look forward to, I feel like.
You, yeah. Anything else you can think of?
I'm sure there is, but I just
Well,
can't,
you
like
can come back to
yeah, we
these.
can come back
I
to
feel like
that.
these are questions that you sit with them, and then new answers come up.
Yeah,
And I think these are good for adults too, because how many adults are not happy in their job? Go
very
through these
true.
questions yourself. This could be like a mother-daughter experience. Oh, here's a good one. What are your favorite subjects in school, and why do you enjoy them?
English because I'm good at it. Electives because it's like electives are more topics that you're actually like interested about, and it's not just like what the school district forces you to learn about. Sometimes history. It just kind of depends. I don't really like math or science, though I'm not very good at those.
So, do you like electives because it's more?
like a creative type of
Yeah.
thing. Or
Okay.
like it's something that I'm actually interested in learning because most of the classes it's like math and science and stuff like that. It's like everyone's learning the same thing because you have to, not because you want to.
Mm,
Electives
yeah.
you pick on your own.
And I think it's good. A lot of teachers and parents will say, don't waste your time with creativity. That's a
Yeah.
waste of time, like starving artist thing. You're never going to make money doing that. I think that's a complete lie. I think when
Yeah.
you tap into your creativity, you engage the right hemisphere of the brain, your imagination, your intuition, and it will guide you towards
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. So I like that, that's something
Yeah, and I feel
to
like with like
enjoy.
math and science too, like the questions you get asked, like, like even just like addition and stuff like that, it's like in the end, everyone ends up with the same like answer. Or if you don't, then it's like you get it wrong. But like with like electives or things like English, it's more like creative. Like pretty much every answer you give is like right in a way.
Which is why I think it's so crazy. Like, okay, you take math, you take science, you take history, you take English, but how many jobs are you really doing any of those things?
Yeah.
Pretty much none. But then there's things like finance and technology and business that are all just electives. Those are the classes
Yeah.
that should be core classes, I think, when you get to a certain age. Okay, here's a good one. What kind of books, TV shows, or YouTube videos do you naturally gravitate towards?
Like lifestyle type of videos, I feel like.
Like where people are doing vlogs about their daily
Yeah.
life. See, you could be a lifestyle entrepreneur.
Hmm.
I think that's good. Pay attention to what you're consuming, and that'll give you a lot of hints of the life and
Yeah.
lifestyle that you want to live. Like, what do you like about the lifestyle?
Yeah, a lot of the lifestyle people that I follow, it's all people that like live in Tampa or in Florida that like live on the beach and stuff.
Hmm. Okay, well, there you go. So you probably want to stay in Florida and live by the
Yeah,
beach. What do people often ask you for help with?
hard. I feel like organizing is definitely one that
Hmm.
I get asked help with a lot. Friend wise, I would say like school stuff because I don't really know what else they would really need to ask me for. But organizing is definitely a big one that I get asked a lot. Like, can you come clean my room or organize my pantry or,
Hmm. Yeah, you do get asked that a lot.
yeah.
I'm telling you, professional organizer. If you could have a free pass to learn anything for a year, what would you choose? Like if you didn't have to go to school and for this 1 year, you could just focus all in on this one thing, what would
Um,
it be?
honestly, I feel like I don't know if it's just because this is like an elective that I want to take next year, but social media.
Yeah. Okay, good. If money wasn't an issue, if you knew you could have all the money in the world, what would you love to spend your days
Oh,
doing?
one real quick. I just thought of another thing that I would like to learn too is like interior design and
Mm,
like home organization, kind of.
yeah. You could
Okay.
go and be like an apprentice,
Yeah.
work under
Like a
somebody,
home
go work
decorator.
as do an internship or
Hmm.
be an assistant because then maybe you're with an interior decorator and you're working with her every day and you're like, this really sucks. I'm glad I
Yeah.
learned this because I thought it was this way, but it's really this way.
Yeah.
Or you're with her and you're like, there's so many things that I would do differently.
Yeah. Or even if you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, but at least I learned the skills and I will have these skills throughout my life then.
Hmm. Yeah. I know. I spent 1 day with an interior designer and I learned so many just like random facts. Like in a room, the lighting should be like in a triangle.
Yeah.
When would I ever learn that? So it's
Yeah.
like that would be a good summer internship.
Yeah.
And you could like reach out to somebody locally if there's no one you know and just say like, "Hey, I'm interested in pursuing this career. Can I shadow you for a day?" And then like if that went well, "Hey, can I do an internship with you or are you
Yeah.
hiring like part-time?" See, this is like
Yeah.
there's a lot of ideas coming from this. Okay, next section, strengths and talents. What are some things you're naturally good at? I feel like we kind of already did that.
Like naturally good at. I feel like some of those that we did list earlier are things that I've picked on like over the years,
Mm.
things that I'm naturally good at. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like when I was like younger, what I was good at. Because I wasn't really into like cleaning or organizing like when I was a kid.
I feel like you've always been really creative though.
Yeah.
Anything, whether it's
Art
painting or
art is one
drawing,
thing.
you're really good at drawing too. Like
Yeah.
any type of art. So So again, it's like this creative theme. So
Yeah.
if you went to work where you're in a very logical left brain job, like an accountant or a
Yeah.
pharmacist, like your dad wants you to be, you would probably be miserable because
Yeah,
there's no creativity.
I could never do a 9 to 5 job. No, thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a second because that's a whole other thing that people should be considering. Because I feel like school, especially college, is conditioning you to be a 9 to 5 worker. Okay, we already know the answer to this. What type of problem solving do you enjoy? Logical, creative, hands on, or social? So we know creative, but also, this is a great question for people to ask. Like, do you like things that are hands on or do you like things that are more logical? So, like, math would be more logical, making something with your hands, like an art class or a woodworking class or
Yeah.
something would be more hands on, or social. Do you like speech class, debate,
Yeah.
talking to other people? Like, that kind of, everyone has their
Yeah, I
own
feel like
thing.
creative and social are two like big ones,
Hmm.
probably.
And then this is a good one. Do you enjoy working alone, collaborating with others, or leading a group?
Well, I feel like leading a group.
Yeah. And I feel like this is one where you got to kind of sit with it too, because you might think, like, I want to be the leader. But then it's like, do you really want to deal with managing other
Yeah.
people? Maybe you do. Like, I think you would
Yeah.
actually be
I feel
really
like
good at
it
that.
does depend on like what the topic is. So like if it's
Hmm.
something I'm good at, I'm fine with leading the group. Otherwise, I'll just kind of let someone else do that.
And there's some people where it's extremes, like they can't stand being alone. They have
Yeah.
to be like constantly, talking to people.
I
And then
think it
there's
does
other people
depend
that,
for me though, like what the group is, like what the type of group is. Because if it's people that are like constantly asking me questions, then it's like, "Ugh, I just want to do it myself. I don't have to deal with these people." Like,
yeah,
yeah.
like you could do it better yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's how I am. And that is why I have only hired one assistant ever. And I fired. And yeah, so I'm the same way. Okay. So now we're getting into future vision and lifestyle. This is important because if you don't know what kind of a lifestyle you want to live, then it's going to be, you're just setting yourself up for very unexpected consequences. Okay. So, like, for example, if you want to, live in a certain location, but then you pick a career that's only available in
Yeah.
another location. Like, I grew up in the Midwest. All of our schools had very big agriculture programs. I can't tell you how many people I know whose husbands went into agriculture and now they're stuck in the Midwest. They would love to move to Florida, but they're
Yeah.
stuck in like this certain area. So, what kind of a lifestyle do you dream about for your future? This includes travel, flexibility, like with your time, working with people. Do you want to work from home? Do you want to go to an office? Do you want to work a 9 to 5 job where you clock in, you do your job, and then you're done? Or do you want to run your own business where you're the boss, you make your own schedule, but then you have more of the responsibility?
Yeah. I feel like flexibility, I definitely want like as much flexibility as I can get. Oh,
Question for you.
okay.
Okay. Because this is interesting between our two generations. What's more important, having a bigger income or having more flexibility? Like, if you had to choose between a job that's going to give you like $200,000 a year, but you had to work all the time, or you could get a job that's $100,000 a year, but you get a ton of vacation time and flexibility, what would you choose?
Would I still be, wait, is like the flexibility, would I still be making like a livable
Oh, yeah, you'd
wage?
still be making a livable wage, but it's
Yeah.
just not like over the top.
Yeah. Then I would like pick that because I mean, if I'm still making like a livable wage and I have a more flexible job, I could always get another job if
Smart
I need
girl.
more money.
Smart cookie, as
Smart
Ian would say.
cookie.
That's very common
See,
for your
if I did
generation.
social media though and I had a job that was flexible, then that would be another thing that I'd be making money from. So I wouldn't have to worry about like,
See, my generation, they like if they're in a job interview, they'll negotiate for a higher salary or better benefits. Younger generations will negotiate for more time off,
yeah.
which I personally think is
Yeah.
smart.
Back to the other question. So definitely a lot of flexibility. Location wise, I would want to be able to work or like live near like the beach. I feel like that's very like typical, but
Mhm.
that's something that a lot of people want. And like working with people, I feel like I like that it's like 50-50. Like sometimes work with people, but sometimes not. Like it'd be nice if there was like a little spot to work in that was like cute that I could go every once a month
Yeah,
and see people. And then besides that, work at home.
like a co-work space or something.
Yeah. Somewhere that was cute, like that little coffee shop we went to earlier.
Okay, so I feel like you already answered this, but just for everyone listening, do you see yourself in a traditional career, running your own business, or doing a mix?
Yeah, no traditional career.
No traditional.
Because
Right.
traditional is like
Yeah.
9 to 5, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Okay. This is kind of a hard one. Would you rather create something new, improve something that exists, or teach others?
Create something new because then if you're like making something that's already there better, then it's like you didn't already create it. You're just making it better. It's like if you're like to inherit something from like your great grandpa and then it's like, oh, thanks. Like now I'm stuck with this. It's like, oh, here's my grandpa's old couch. What a treat.
What a treat. Thanks. That's great. What kind of an impact do you want to have on the world?
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, that's a good one to sit with. Like, what kind of an impact do you want to have? And like, what would you want people to say about you? Like if they looked at your life, like what kind of a mark would you want to leave where people are like, oh, she
Yeah.
was the one who
Yeah. Like
blank.
inspiring or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one to just like sit with.
Yeah.
Like that question kind of changed my whole life because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be known as, I was a good employee at AstraZeneca. Great, that's when I was like, I'm going to write a book someday because a book will be around long after I'm gone.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you? Does it mean freedom, financial security, helping others, recognition, or something else?
What was the first one?
Freedom.
Yeah. I feel like freedom, but then also like having like money or like living your dream life.
Yeah. And I feel like with money, people want money, but the real underlying reason is they want the freedom that money gives them, like the
Yeah.
freedom to travel, the freedom to spend their days how they want.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a dream job or business today, what would it be?
Dream job or business? I mean, right now, one thing that I've been looking at a lot is like being a realtor, but I don't know if I would pick that just because that might change. But I feel like having like a large like social media, like being like a content creator is something that I can carry throughout life no matter what like career I change.
Mm,
Cause that's something you could just do on the side no matter like what career you end up doing.
yeah, no, it totally is. And I feel like really any career or business, like even if you were a realtor, so many realtors rely on their social media to
Yeah.
bring in clients. So it's just a good skill.
Like some of the things I wanted to do in the past was like be a baker. Like if, let's say I started like a content creating thing then like I could have posted baking stuff and then when I was into like the whole jewelry thing, I could have used that on social media and then now that I'm into like realtor and traveling and all that stuff, I could post about that on social media.
Maybe you should take that social media class over the summer.
Yeah.
That could be your summer, like one thing you do this summer or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, next section, exploring career and business paths. So I feel like we're reiterating things, but what are three careers that sound interesting to you and why?
Again, like the content creator thing cuz that's like flexible and something you can carry throughout life. Being a realtor because if I were to, like, get that started, like, earlier on in life, then, like, you just basically, like, make a bunch of money and don't have to work that much, and it's, like, a job that's interesting, and then I guess, like, home interior design along with, like, work, like, together just because that's something that I'm interested in.
I feel like you could merge all three of those into like one
Yeah.
thing too. Do you prefer working with people, technology, nature, or ideas?
Ideas, I guess.
What problems in the world would you love to help solve?
This is actually one that doesn't really go with any of the careers that I said, but the food industry, like helping people with like leaky gut and stuff like that, because that's one thing
Mm.
that I've had for a while. If I could solve that issue with like the food industry, I would solve that with all the stuff they're putting in our food.
You could do social media on helping people with
Yeah.
leaky gut. What kind of business would you start if you knew it would be successful and would not fail?
There's a lot of things I could think of. Like, I feel like whole home thing could be good in a way because I feel like I have a lot of people that I could have like work for me. Like you could do one thing and like could have like our friends do like a bunch of different jobs. You know, like one person could be doing home design, one person could be doing exterior design, one person could be building, you know.
Yep, that would be fun too.
Yeah. It's like
Who
the fixer
inspires
upper.
you? What do they do and why do you admire them?
That's kind of a hard one. I haven't really thought about that.
Is there like an influencer or
I mean, you get to work at home, so you, or if I can think, I'm trying to think of like if there's any influencers. I'm sure there is. I just like can't think of them. I guess any influencer that gets to like work on their own time and
Mhm.
is still like successful and making a lot of money.
And see, that's the thing too, like if freedom and being on your own time and having flexibility is important, then like college is not like you should be getting into entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Because again, college is not that. It's like high school. Like you have very
Yeah.
structured schedule to get you a degree that is going to get you a job. Like
Yeah.
that is why you get a degree is to get a job. I would love to say college is like, oh, so you could like learn a skill and master something, but you don't go and learn one skill. That it's just a modge podge of everything, just kind of like high school is. Okay, what industries or companies seem exciting to you?
Industries or companies?
Like
Like
you
exciting how like places I like going or like that I would be wanting to work with.
like where you'd be like that would be so cool to like be a part of that and work there or have a company like that or
Mm,
like you're just intrigued by it.
oh, that's kind of hard.
I kind of think that kinesiology, you had mentioned
Yeah,
that, even though we
kinesiology
don't
would
really know
definitely be
a lot about
one.
that. Let's see.
That would be a skill that I would want to learn even if I wasn't going to do that like in the future. I feel like even just like something like working in a little boutique would be fun. I mean, obviously not like in the future, but like as a teenager, if I needed a job,
Hmm.
that would be fun. Yeah, and anything in like realtor companies by the beach.
Okay, this is the last section, taking action and gaining experience. So we kind of like already talked about this, but what small steps could you take to explore these interests further? This could be job shadowing, online courses, volunteering, starting a small business.
I feel like if I knew someone that was doing like that specific job, like for example, if I knew someone that was like a realtor and like they took me to work with them for a day just to like see how it is, I feel like that would kind of help me, you know, get some experience or see like what it would look like.
I feel like that's the easiest way to start because
Yeah.
all you're doing is giving up like one day
Yeah.
and you could learn so much in that one day. Like that one day, you could be like, this is awful. I would never want to do this.
Yeah.
Or you could be like, this was amazing. You know, it can really give you a lot of insight. And then from there, like if it was something that was interesting and you're like, yeah, I want to pursue this further, then you could explore, can I do an internship? Can I
Yeah.
volunteer? Can I, get a
Or you could
job?
even be like 50-50. Like I liked this, but I didn't like how it blah blah blah. Like
Hmm.
and then you could be like, well, what job is similar to this but doesn't have that factor? Like let's say it's something that's like a 9 to 5 job and you're like, well, I like what the job is doing and like the actual job itself, but I don't have to work 9 to 5. And then you could find one that's like an online job or something
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah. It's a great way to explore different ideas. Are there any side projects, internships, or part time jobs that could give you real world experience?
I mean, we kind of already said this, but like
That's
this whole
it's like
social media thing. Or I feel like even like if I did live by the beach, having like a little shop or like a boutique or something
Mhm.
would be like fun. And then
It's like
I just,
Uncle Jeff. He's like, I'm just gonna sell t-shirts on the beach.
yeah, just like a cute little shop. But then I have other people running it and I just go there once every month, maybe.
That's what a lot of people do. They start a business where all they need to do is train someone
Yeah.
to run it for them. If you could start a passion project today, what would it be?
What's a passion project?
Like just something fun that you just feel like doing. Like it could be like starting a social media account. It could be
Yeah,
creating something.
I guess like that. I don't know. Or like taking a online course or something like see what the job would be like or something like that. I don't know.
Mhm. Who could you talk to or learn from about careers or businesses that interest you? So this is where I feel like once you answer all these questions and like, okay, you're like, I want to learn a little more about kinesiology, a little more about
Yeah.
realtor or organizing or like any of those things, then you start looking and seeing who do I know that does that.
Yeah.
If you don't know someone in person, go online, like go and look
Or
at
even you can
professional
probably ask
organizers.
like Chat GPT
Hmm.
questions too.
Yeah. But just like, you start learning how to be resourceful and talk to other people. And
Yeah.
people love that. Like if you reached out to someone online and you were like, "Hey, I'm a high school student. I'm interested in starting a business. I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
I interview you or like talk to you." They would probably be like, "Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to you."
Yeah. Chat GPT, I don't know why I just thought of this, but it's like Chat GPT's like Barbie because she's had like every job ever.
Yeah. No, seriously. Elon Musk was talking about this and he was saying with AI, it's like having Einstein like teaching you. So
Yeah.
you could like literally ask any question. You could ask to learn about kinesiology and it'll
Yeah.
give you a whole curriculum, you know? It's why.
Yeah. I feel like with the whole like talking to people about a career thing, like it doesn't have to just be the career too. It could be like the flexibility or like the like time you're working and stuff that like if you know someone who works from home and you're like, I want to work from home. I don't want to have the same job as them. Like, but I
Mhm.
still want to work from home. You could always ask them. They probably know other people that work from home too.
And a good question too for people would be like, what's the biggest regret or what do you like least about what you're doing?
Mhm.
Because that could be really eye opening too. Things that you just don't think about until you're in it. Okay, this is the last question. What's one thing you can do this month to explore your interests more?
I guess like finding people that do that job and like doing my research to see if there's anything that I like dislike about that job.
Hmm.
Cause like,
Yeah, you could make like a list and then each month focus on like one thing that you're going to explore more.
yeah,
Okay, so those are the questions. And then there's like a little section at the end of like what parents can do to help guide kids or what kids can do to guide themselves and exposure to options. So, like trying different things, trying different activities, doing online courses. This is huge. Like if you like interior design, you could probably go and find a course that's relatively inexpensive that you could do online and that's going to tell you a lot. Like do I love this? Do I not?
yeah.
No.
This is why I wish on like TikTok and Instagram, like I followed this one lady who she like went and took like a cosmetology class for like a month and then she like shared like here's everything I learned each day in cosmetology class and she would like vlog everything she learned each day and then it's like even if you don't want to do that and you just want to learn what they learned then it's like you could look
You could
online
do that.
and I wish more people did that that were like in college.
You have a problem that you need a solution for, you can provide that solution.
Yeah.
You could be like, "Hey, this week I'm doing a class on interior design. Here's everything you need to know."
Yeah.
Um, okay, personality and strength assessments. So there's Myers-Briggs, Clifton Strengths, Holland Code. I think those are fine, but hands-on learning, like we're talking about job shadowing, online courses, there's nothing better than learning hands-on. Entrepreneurial exploration. Okay, this is where I think we need to be encouraging this more with kids. The best time to practice being an entrepreneur and starting a business is when you're young and you're at home with your parents and you don't have bills to pay because as soon as you have to pay rent and pay all these bills, it's really risky to start a business when you
Yeah.
need constant income. So the best time to start is when you're living at home and you have, your basic
Yeah.
necessities covered. And it's virtually next to nothing to start a business now. Everything's digital online, so, that could be like a summer project. Like, I'm going to start this business and just to learn the ins and outs of having a business. Encourage experimentation. Let her explore different creative outlets like YouTube, blogging, selling crafts, tutoring to see what she enjoys. I think that's great. Like, ask your kids, what can you do to make money this summer?
Yeah. That's very
You have to be creative, come up with something,
yeah.
you know?
I feel like you could too like another thing. I mean, we could probably do like a whole episode on this of like setting goals of how much you want to make. Like, okay, today I'm gonna make $20, or like by the end of this week, I'm gonna make $5. Like, I don't know. You could do it as
Mhm.
specific as you want, and then it's like you get to that goal.
And then we already talked about this in depth, but the last thing it says is connecting with role models. So finding
Yeah.
mentors, books, or podcasts that align with interests. You know what would be interesting is if we like invited people on here. You know, you
Yeah.
could interview different people from all different industries and ask them these questions.
Yeah.
What do you
So
like
our
about
podcast will now
celebrities?
be about finding Alexis's future
Mhm.
career.
I mean, really though, it's like part of manifesting the life you want to live, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big decision and right now we're asking 15-year-olds to just know what they want to do.
Okay, we need a realtor, a kinesiologist, and a social media influencer on the podcast.
Stat. Yeah, get on here immediately. That would be good. I would be
Yeah.
interested in that too. I think that would be eye-opening. All right, well, hopefully that helps everyone get started, at least thinking about it because you shouldn't be expected to know all this
Yeah.
stuff. And this will at least get the ball rolling so you can start thinking about what you want to do, where you want to go to school, if you want to go to school, if you want to start a business. So there you go. And hopefully it won't be too long before our next episode. We'll see if we
Yeah.
get some fun interviews.
Yeah, we should come up with some ideas. I know I said something at the beginning of this podcast and I always forget. I do that every podcast. I'll be like, oh, we should make an episode on this. And then we go to make an episode. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I know.
And then it's like we should just listen to our own podcast. I've probably like dropped like 8 different ideas and then just never done them.
I know because we were talking about like a leaky gut episode at one point.
Yeah, and we never did that.
Yeah.
What did I say at the beginning of
You
this?
didn't you say like we should go through everything I've
Oh, yeah.
tried or something?
Yeah, and then you could talk about all your past jobs that led you to become a
Mhm.
podcaster.
Yeah, so we could do that, give our own experiences and then find other people to give their experiences
Yeah.
and that I mean, that's helpful.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the plan. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in and we'll see you back here next time.
I just thought of an idea with that too, like to add